Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to be taking at the two investing apps Stash and M1 Finance. And I was actually super surprised at how many similarities these two investing apps have, and there's only a few key differences between these two investing apps. So first of all, I'm going to get into the similarities between these two apps, and then I'm going to get into the differences afterwards. So the first and most major similarity with these two investing apps is that you can invest for free in ETFs and stocks without having to pay any trading fees, which is huge compared to like TD Ameritrade and other big firms where you'd have to pay a $6 or $8 trading fee for every single trade you want to do. Another huge similarity between these two investing apps is that you can invest in fractional shares. And what this allows you to do is just buy one tiny fraction of a share. Say you wanted to invest in Amazon, which is trading for almost $1,900 right now, which you would never be able to do on your own, but you have $50 you want to throw into Amazon. So you could easily do that with either M1 Finance or Stash, which is great because you couldn't do that through Robinhood or any of the big investing firms. Another big similarity between these two apps is that they both have digital banking, but I'm actually going to get into a key difference between the digital banking with Stash and M1 Finance shortly. Also, M1 Finance has not launched their debit card yet, but they are going to very soon, probably within the next couple months, and Stash just launched theirs within the last couple months. So they're launching it very closely in periods of time. Stash and M1 Finance also both have retirement accounts, which are Roth IRAs. Big difference between M1 Finance and Stash is that Stash does charge $2 a month for that retirement account, and M1 Finance does not. If you were just to throw $50 in there, I guess that $2 a month would really count for a lot. But if you're investing several $1,000s, I mean, the $2 a month wouldn't really matter much to me. One of the biggest differences between Stash and M1 Finance is the interface. So you can see the M1 Finance interface here. I don't really like this kind of interface because it can show that as a company approaches their 52-week high or low, they control a much bigger or smaller portion of your portfolio than they should, and that will encourage you to invest less or more in that company, and I don't think it should really be like that. All companies go through highs and lows, and M1 Finance kind of pushes you to invest more in a company if they're at a low, which is kind of good, kind of bad. Then here on Stash, you can see that your investments are just listed out, and you can just scroll up and down to see all of your investments. And if you use the Stash debit card like I do, then you can have a lot of investments on here and it can get kind of clunky. But I think I like that better than the M1 Finance pie chart because it's not trying to redistribute your cash. I like how on Stash I can just control exactly what I want to invest in, and it's easy for me to see that on the Stash interface. Probably the biggest difference between M1 Finance and Stash is that there is a credit line opportunity on M1 Finance. And I'm not too sure if I would use this, but say if I was strapped for cash one month and I saw a really good investment opportunity, maybe I would use it. And that opportunity is not on Stash, so I think that is really cool that M1 Finance does offer that. And this is probably how M1 Finance ends up making a lot of their money, whereas Stash charges $1 a month for trading in stocks and ETFs, and then $2 a month for the Roth IRA. I mentioned earlier that there was a big difference between the M1 Finance and the Stash debit cards, and that is cash back with M1 Finance and stock back with Stash. So you're probably familiar with what cash back is. I have it on my credit card. Most credit cards do offer cash back. And then what's interesting about the debit card with Stash and what ultimately made me get it, because I really wasn't interested in getting another debit card, but when I saw that they offered stock back, that really got me interested. So you can see here that you can get 2% stock back in Uber, 3% back in Amazon, and 3% back in Walmart. So what that does, if you were to get $100 of groceries at Walmart, you would get $3 back in the Walmart stock, which I thought was a really cool option. And if Stash had only been doing cash back, I don't really know if I would have been interested in that because, I mean, most credit cards do offer that. So this is what really differentiated the debit card for me between other debit cards. And you can see I've already earned 21 rewards, and those have mostly been small purchases. So I think I've only earned like $4, but still, it's pretty cool compared to other debit cards. And there's also no kind of fees involved in opening a debit card account with M1 Finance or Stash or maintaining the account. Another pretty cool option offered on M1 Finance that's not on Stash is you can invest along with expertly built portfolios, and then those portfolios can use your money and go along with how those portfolios tend to invest. For example, there's general investing, which will just help you get a diversified portfolio, planning for retirement, which is safe long-term investing, income earners, which is probably dividend investing, hedge fund followers, which is probably a more aggressive approach. So this is kind of like investing in ETFs, which you can easily do through M1 Finance or Stash, but it's definitely interesting that you can just use these portfolios to invest how you want to, a lot more passively than you could just with investing in stocks. Another big difference between M1 Finance and Stash is that there is a $1 per month fee with Stash, whereas with M1 Finance there is not, for just using the Stash investment account. And if you're just getting started with $50 and only plan to start adding a very small amount of money over time and don't plan to have over a couple $1,000s for a few years, then it is probably better to start using Acorns or M1 Finance. But Stash is great for young investors if you don't mind that $1 a month fee. Another key feature on Stash that I really like is that this is one of their main functions on Stash is the Learn tab, and they have tons of really quick articles on here for young investors or investors just getting started on the stock market to help you grow and learn as you invest more and more. And that's one of the things I really like about Stash, and M1 Finance doesn't have something quite like this to help investors learn as they grow their portfolios. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions on Stash or M1 Finance, please do leave a comment on down below. And if you liked the video, subscribe for more. Thanks.